Welcome back to What's the Obsession. So this video is about Rex Heuerman, the man that is the suspect, the accused Long Island or Gilgo Beach serial killer. So, oh my gosh, guys, do you remember that interview that he did a long time ago, way before he was a suspect? And he says that his favorite tool to use is a cabinet maker's hammer because it is persuasive and it always yields the correct results. Well, Ashley Banfield just 2 days ago did an interview with the person who conducted that interview with Rex Heuerman several years ago. And in that interview, I just found this as I was preparing for a live stream tonight about Rex Heuerman's daughter and all that bombshell information that came out. The man who conducted the interview with him says that the daughter was there and he observed that they had a very strange and uncomfortable relationship. He says that she seemed to be intimidated by him, and they kind of linger on that topic of their strange and uncomfortable relationship for a while. Oh my gosh. Also in that video with Ashley Banfield is one of the hosts from the behavior panel who talks about the nonverbal cues, the language, the body language that he sees in Rex Heuerman and what he believes that says. This is absolutely compelling. I'm going to play that original interview for you first, and then we'll go into the Ashley Banfield segment that aired just 2 days ago. This is wild. What timing?
Bonjour, I'm Antoine. Today on interview Rex Heuerman, owner of RH Consultant, a Department of Building facilitator. Let's go meet him.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Likewise. I hope you don't mind. I brought my assistant with me, Norman.
Hello, Norman. I see it's raining out.
Yes,
Shall
it's
we go to the
raining. Yeah.
table?
Yes,
Yeah,
please. Okay.
I know. You said you like to do this outside, but Mother Nature's not cooperating today.
Yeah, to say the least, I tell you that. Being in your office, all right?
I wasn't looking forward to doing this under a scaffold.
I can understand. Okay, anyway, let's dive in. So, tell us, who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been in New York.
Okay. Rex Heuerman, I'm an architect. I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
Been working in Manhattan since 1987.
Oh, wow.
Very long time.
Okay, so this brings directly to my first question. So, can you explain to our audience what is it that you do, not the architect part of your business, but the other part of the business, which is, it's my understanding that you're kind of a facilitator with the Department of Building. Is that correct? But please tell us.
That's correct, but much more.
Okay. That's much more I'm interested.
I do troubleshooting, architectural troubleshooting, and negotiations with the building department.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, do we do the standard stuff with the building department? Handle your filings. I have other clients who are a lot of other architects. Mm-hmm. And we'll handle their interactions with the building department, especially out-of-city architects, because they're a little afraid of the city. And when a job that should have been routine suddenly becomes not routine, I get the phone call.
Gotcha.
Whether it's an old building and they need somebody that understands and can maneuver the 1938 building code, or the current building code. You look surprised when I say 1938 building code.
Building,
I've actually used the 1901 old tenement laws here in the city of New York, and you can legally do so.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the little things that
you do.
People don't always understand when it comes to building codes. They never read the administrative section.
So, what decided you to launch that particular, I would say, a niche of a business? Was it because out of frustration on your side as an architect? You say, I can't believe, I didn't think about that. Let me dive into it and let me try to maybe make it a business out of it, or was just, you just decided to do it?
Actually, it was Harvey's fault.
Of who?
In 1987, when I came to work in the city, The first architect I worked for was Harvey Rothenberg.
Okay.
Great man. That year, a new law came out. Local Law 58 of 87.
Okay.
That's all the handicap access.
Okay.
They said,
The idea.
you're the new guy, you read it. So, I read
You
it.
read it.
There was a situation dealing with the city. They said, well, go meet with the city. I did. I was effective at it. He said, go do it again.
Oh, that's funny.
And that's how the whole thing started.
Okay.
And he did a lot of work with not-for-profit agencies
Okay.
for developmentally disabled. So that's where I started doing a lot of my building code consultant with him, as well as the design and drawings
Yeah.
for these facilities. And the one thing I learned very quickly was the building department could not understand them.
Couldn't understand what their own codes.
Their own codes, their own laws, because you have what we would call a group home for developmentally disabled.
Okay.
It doesn't exactly fit the code book. And the plan examiners who work for the building department didn't fully understand it. So part of my job became educate the city.
So you educate the city about their own code.
Correct.
That has been, our
And-
laws.
That's been something
interesting.
we've been doing ever since, and we still do today.
So you started with a firm, and then when you decided to launch your own, you decided, let me continue that route of the consulting. Is that correct?
That's basically correct.
Yeah.
But the way it all happened was a recession in the early 90s.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh, yeah.
And we're all trying to figure out who to work for.
Yeah.
And that's when I met my very, very first paying client, Robert Meyer.
Robert Meyer, okay.
I'm in the Queens Building Department. It's before lunch. I want to get to lunch. Back in those days, you had to physically stand in line
Yes.
with your paperwork, because this predated the computer system.
Yes.
And he was dealing with the clerk at the certificate of occupancy counter. Didn't know what he was doing. I'm getting impatient. I go, excuse me, took his paperwork, explained to the clerk what he needed, then explained to him what he needed to do, then move over. Then I took care of what I needed to do. He was standing off on the side.
What do you think is one of the main reasons people are contacting you? Is that because they were badly advised, or because they don't know all the rules, or they try to rush things? Is that what is basically most of the reason why people are contacting you for?
I would say the biggest reason, they're overwhelmed by the city. They're overwhelmed by the size, complexity of the building department.
Yeah.
And whether it's a restaurant, a place of assembly, a 40,000 square foot retail that we did last year, or somebody's co-op, or it's their mother's co-op and she passed away, and there's an old application that's 20 years old that nobody addressed that they have to solve to sell it. People get very overwhelmed, not just by the agency and how to deal with the agency, but the complexity of, we got plumbing work, structural work, construction work, there was mechanical work done. There's a list of requirements, 20-something things long in the computer. What do we do?
Okay. So tell me, is this part of the, because you're an architect, is this part of the business has outgrown your architect business, or it started taking over, or what?
Sometimes it's the majority.
Really? Yeah, that's
Sometimes it's 50-50 with architecture, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
On the architectural side, having all of these capabilities in-house gives me an advantage over other people, because I have my own staff.
Yeah.
Most architects will go to an outside consultant.
Like yours.
No, not like mine, called an expediter.
Ah, okay. Okay. That's what the expediter
The expediter, they understand how to file, they understand the administrative procedures. Where I exceed that is I have the license to practice architecture. So when I go to the city, I can tell them how I feel and what I think they should do. And I do that. An expediter can't do that because they work at the pleasure of the city.
Yeah.
I don't.
Understand. Yeah. So, after all those years, what do you think is the most important qualities a person in your position dealing with the DOB must have?
Patience.
That's funny. I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah. Patience, and I don't like to use the word tolerance, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
And it's not just with the city, it's also with the client. Because most clients, they don't understand what I have to do, why I have to do it, what it takes to get done.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with somebody in the city, whether it be a clerk at the counter who has to enter data entry, or if I'm dealing with the borough commissioner of Manhattan, you need the patience, because who knows what the person before you did. Sometimes they have very bad days. I've actually gone to the commissioner's office, sat down in his waiting area at 11:30 in the morning, and a little after 5 o'clock, I heard him finally holler out, "Is Rex still there?" That's how long I waited.
Oh, God.
Because that particular client, I had to see the commissioner. They were the only ones who could give us an answer.
Okay, got it. Oh, yeah. So this is a perfect segue. Do you have a story where the situation, and we don't need names, but do you have a story where situation seemed, very, very doomed, but you were able to deliver at the end? Do you have a good success story to tell us?
There are so many different ways
I'm sure.
looking at it.
But you have one.
Only one.
Okay.
One of the first ones to come to mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was
curious.
A building downtown Manhattan.
Okay.
They put a generator on the roof. Typical generators go on roofs all the time.
Okay.
Except the fuel lines to feed the generator will run through the exit stair. Let's see. Pumping diesel fuel through an exit stair, that generally is not a good idea.
This doesn't sound very safe to me.
No.
And I'm not even in your field.
And we're talking a 20-something story building.
Even better.
The architect who I was working with at the time, I called him, didn't answer. I called him 4 or 5 times. He finally picks up the phone because he happened to be at Passover dinner. And I told him what was going on. All I got was dead silence, then the, "Oh my God."
Okay.
Now, you would think, how do you solve this without tearing everything apart?
Exactly. Yeah.
Meet with the commissioner of Manhattan Building Department, and I start negotiating how to do this.
Okay.
And I got very creative with, first you have to address, I got flammable liquid, combustible liquid in my stair, not good. Can I separate it from the stair?
Okay.
That was question one. Second question is, do you still have enough room for the legal means of egress in the stair? Because you have to maintain minimum width, minimum capacities to get everybody out.
Yeah.
So this became a mixing of building code, negotiation, the use of modern products to achieve all of this. And in the end, the pipe stayed.
The pipe stayed?
They stayed. I achieved a 4-hour separation from the stair using autoclaved aerated concrete block construction.
And on the Chinese to me, but I'm sure.
And on the horizontal run,
I
used a 3M product to achieve the fire rating. So it became a mix of art and science and the understanding of the code to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's what I applied to each job. I actually just purchased a copy of the 1922 building code.
Oh.
Because I'm dealing with a building that was built in the late 20s, but it's not yet under the 1938 code. So I'm in that slack water between 22 and 38, and I need to prove that the condition was legal at that point in time.
At that point in time. That's
which is why at home I have an extensive library,
I'm sure,
of obsolete books. And people want to know, why do I have a plumbing code from the 1970s?
Yeah.
When I do work for either attorneys or have to look up something historical, I need the reference for that point in time.
Exactly, yeah. What has this job taught you about yourself?
I think it's taught me more about how to understand people, because dealing with the technical aspects is something a person can learn. Mm-hmm. You go to school and through an architectural program. You work for the experience of doing architecture. You get your license to practice. As your time goes on, you learn about the buildings and about the codes and the different buildings of time frames. I'm dealing with a building from the 1880s right now. You know how they react. But it's the people, how they're all so different, and how you deal with the people, I think, is one of the more interesting aspects that have come out of this.
Yes? Okay. All right, my last question. If you were a tool or an object to help you in your to bring your business to greater heights, what would it be?
That's an interesting question.
I know.
Because for what I do, we have to have so many tools in the toolbox.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one. Or an object. It doesn't have to be a tool. It can be an object.
You know what? I know.
All right.
One of the things I learned from my father was furniture building.
Okay.
He was an aerospace engineer and built satellites. And
runs in the family, building things.
And built furniture at home. And I still build it in the same exact workshop.
So
I have one tool that's pretty much used in almost every job, and it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
A cabinet maker hammer. Okay.
It is persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something. And it always yields excellent results. Yeah. And at the end of the project, whatever piece of furniture or what I'm working on, it always helps it come out beautifully.
Okay, great. So you would be kind of that kind of hammer for your business? That's what you're saying? If that doesn't exist, that's what you would be?
Sometimes I have to be the heavy framing hammer.
The heavy framing hammer.
Other times I'm the lightweight hammer just to nudge things along.
All right. I guess it's a hammer. We got it. That's it, folks. That was Rex, owner, founder of RH Consultant. So if you have any building regulatory issues, please contact him. He's probably going to solve your issues, okay? Guys, you know the drill. Comment, share, like, subscribe. Subscribe, very important. But in the meantime, it's
selfie time.
Selfie time. You're fast. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah! Can you smile?
That is.
So
I have one tool that's pretty much used in almost every job, and it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
Okay, cabinet maker hammer. Okay.
It is persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something. And it always yields excellent results. Yeah. And at the end of the project, whatever piece of furniture or what I'm working on, it always helps it come out beautifully.
What I'm working on, coming out beautiful. All this brings me to our friend Scott Rouse, a behavior and body language expert who trained alongside the FBI, the Secret Service, and U.S. military intelligence. He co-hosts a podcast called The Behavior Panel. Scott, great to have you on again. Thank you. Okay, what do you see in those sound bites?
Well, let's keep in mind we're seeing a clinical narcissist. I'm under the impression the guy's a psychopath from what he's done in his history. But we're seeing the clinical narcissist in the best place he could possibly be. It's heaven for him because he's got someone asking him questions about himself. And as he answers these questions, we see all kinds of cues that let us know that his confidence is way up. It's through the roof, just like a clinical narcissist should be. We're seeing, as he speaks, we see the head go back, which shows his arrogance, and the chin comes out as it goes back. We see a lot of that underneath his chin there, which is actually a pretty big deal. And then we see his fingers, they're adapting and moving around with excitement as he starts to talk about himself. He does this, and we see him get excited. He pulls these together. We're also seeing 2 thumbs up as he's talking. When our thumbs are up, that lets everyone know that we're feeling confident. When the thumbs go away, confidence is very low. When they're up, they're out and everybody can see them, they're really high. Same thing with steepling. You're going to see him steeple in here as well when he talks for a second, when he starts talking about himself. This is the nirvana for a narcissist. Put it on a pedestal, being asked questions, and being on camera. At the same time, let me add one more thing. I know I'm going long on this one, but watch him check the camera.
No, but I want them to keep rolling the pictures. Wait, Scott, I want to just tell our controller, keep rolling the pictures, because every time you were saying something, I was looking at his fingers. So I'm gripping now on this. So go ahead,
There's
keep going.
The steepling. Yeah, there was a steepling, and now he's got his hands are like this. And these illustrators he's using are showing his bravado. These really big illustrators that he's using. So we're seeing a narcissist on a pedestal being asked questions, but watch him check the camera every now and then. He just sort of checks it, and he looks right down the barrel. You can't see him. It takes a second to get to see him do it. You can see him checking it. He's totally into this situation. He absolutely loves it. Now, keep in mind, as he goes through this, he's done all these horrible things, or he's done a lot of horrible things, supposedly, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Done these horrible things.
I have to keep saying allegedly. Yep.
Done these horrible things. And as he feels confident because he's under the impression he's gotten away with all that. And he's so smart, nobody can catch him. And we'll hear him as we go through these videos as well. We're hearing him talk about how much smarter he is than the city that he works for, because he tells them what their problems are, and he tells them how to fix them. He does everything that a clinical narcissist will do. I mean, it's mind-blowing, all the things we're seeing in here and all the things he's saying. When he talks about his father, he's talking about how smart and brilliant his father was too. The interviewer goes back and says something about, it runs in the family or genetic or whatever. Same thing. It's just one thing after the others. It's just a pile of narcissistic comments and body language that let us know exactly what we're looking at there. Doesn't say we can tell he's a murderer.
It's interesting you say this. I'll tell you, right, and I'll tell you something. It's important to say that. But I'll tell you that Antoine Amir, who did this interview, that's him right there, the real estate. I mean, again, he's laughing because this is just an architect. He's not interviewing a serial killer. He's interviewing an architect. So, of course, he should laugh. Right. He said it was the worst interview he'd ever done because of the ego, the just unabashed ego of this man. He said he just was unpleasant because it was so overbearing. And Nikki Brass is a former escort who also talked to us about going on a date with Rex Heuerman in 2015. She says he discussed serial killers, and then he really changed his tune when he started talking about the Gilgo Beach murders. Let me play that soundbite. Take a look.
Okay.
He leaned in. He got excited. It seemed like something he very much wanted to talk about, but not even just talk about. You know the look in someone's eyes when they're remembering something, when they're thinking about it, when they're trying to think about details. it was like that. It wasn't like somebody who read a book and was just spewing facts. It was somebody who was trying to act like they didn't live it.
Wow.
Got 40 seconds left, but Nikki Rausch saw the body language. What did you see? Or what'd you make of what she saw?
All right, exactly what every woman sees. Women take in information in a lot more detail than men do, and they can siphon through it much quicker and see what's happening. What she's talking about is the inner dialogue she sees going on in his head. The reason he's excited is because they're talking about his favorite subject, something he got away with, these murders that he did. The only thing psychopaths, if he is a psychopath, I don't know for sure, but I'm under the impression he is, when they murder someone, that's only some of the real excitement they get because of the adrenaline rush. And he's talking to her about the most exciting thing he's got going in his life, as he's talking to someone who has the same job that she does. And that's exciting for him as well, because he's probably thinking, am I going to off her as well? So she's very lucky, very lucky.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage. Joining me now is the man who conducted that interview back in 2022 with the public side of Rex Heuerman. Antoine Amir is here. I am so glad to have you with me.
Thank you very much.
Dying to ask you so many questions about that time that you spent with him. Your initial impressions of Rex Heuerman?
Before or after?
Before, during, after, all of it.
Well, before I met him, it was very difficult for me to get that interview. Once I arrived at his office, I was so we arrived. He has the entire floor in his office. And we greet each other. And the first impression that he gave me, he was a very strong man. We shook hands, and he's a very, very strong.
He gripped your hand?
Like gripped my hand, like I was that close to say,
Really?
Yeah, it was so strong. He hurt. It was so strong. And I had my cameraman, which is almost as tall as Mr. Rex. He exactly had the same thing. It was super hard, you know. And then during the interview, I felt like he was very difficult for me to do the interview because it was really a lot about him. He loves talking about himself, about what he did. He was also a little bit. He had his daughter that was working with him at the
She was there
desk.
during the interview?
Yeah, she was there during the interview. She's the one who welcomed us, but he felt like that, you know, he was a strange relationship between his daughter and him, in the sense that she was a little bit intimidated by him also.
You felt his daughter was intimidated by him?
Yeah, because the way that he was talking a little bit to her. I mean, I didn't feel comfortable when he was talking to her personally.
Really?
Yeah.
That is fascinating. Can I ask you, while we were, I'll tell the audience that while the interview was playing, we were talking, and you said this was the worst interview you'd ever done.
The reason why it was the worst, it's because it was very difficult for me to drive the conversation. He's somebody that is extremely precise, and because he's an architect, and because I interviewed him originally because he's a Department of Building facilitator, and he loved making a fool of the city, making a fool of the government, all people. I would say, in general terms, people with authority, because he many times he said to me that he knew more about the people working there. So
narcissist.
Yeah, very narcissist, very, very proud of himself. So that was very difficult for me to do this interview.
Watching you interview him and watching his response, I just sensed ego coming through the lens. Did you feel the same in the room, or was it more, or was it less?
No, this is exactly why it was very difficult to do that interview, because of that, because it was constantly, it was very difficult for me to go to the next question. He loves to talk about himself so much. You know, that was very, very intriguing. I think the time when he was a little bit thrown off is when I asked him. I always ask the same question at the end of my interviews. all the people that I interview always ask if they if they were an object, what would they be, you know, to help them in their business. And that really, you know, you can see him on the camera, you know, he's taken aback a little bit, you know, because he said, oh, you know, for the very first time, somebody's asking him to be objectified and to see himself as an object.
And he said hammer, and when I first saw your interview, it didn't stand out to me as much as it did this week when we learned in the bail application that he allegedly used all of these tools on these poor victims who were tortured, allegedly, again, in that basement. Now looking back at that answer, give me your impressions.
It's a little bit chilling, I would say, you know, to say the least. You know, knowing what the investigation have seen, and again, like you said, it's allegedly. It's bizarre, you know. Looking for a hammer it was not the first time I heard the word hammer. People, some of my interviewees, but it was the first time somebody was so precise.
And he seemed to change all of a sudden when you. I think you should reach out to him because you've done an interview with him already, and maybe you will be the person he will want to interview with again. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.